Welcome, y'all, from Sedona. This is going to be called Let's Get the Monkey Off Our Back. Have the keys to the kingdom. So, um, I've long been vocal about the debt. I voted once, Ron Paul. It's like 2011. I was probably 23. I gave the max to his campaign. It's like 2,500. That was a lot for me. I was a kid. But he sold me, and I read the Austrian School of Economics. It's very dry. I read all those things, and I was sold basically on, libertarian thinking. Studied physics at Rice at the same time as reading like David Bohm. I won't go on, get to the juicy stuff, but I was convinced. I was going to the Objectivist Club, the Ayn Rand Club at the University of Wisconsin. I had a job in Madison, and I respect those people, love those people. But I started having opinions that it wasn't the way. It was too cold. Because basically the argument is you should be able to make it. And if you can't make it, I don't know, just starve in the cold. And nature's a little bit that way. But in physics, you find, the last century physics was wild. The place is very surprising. And really the miracle or the Big Bang is like, it's constantly fluttering. And, I at the same time found some channeled works, not to disparage myself for you non-believers, but some PhDs actually had written some assessments of some of the books I was reading were like, this was definitely channeled. Ability to predict the future or just the quality of the information coming through the person. I read most of the channeled works on Earth. I do think they intentionally littered them a little bit, so you kind of have to find the puzzles and the gems from all of them. They didn't give us like a book that is the way. I did grow up in the church. I do think that is, a really good teaching. And I did study, most of the other ones too, and they're all very good. What do the Hindus say? Like, it's hard to see the whole elephant. TLDR, where I'm going to go with this is it's definitely a spiritual place, and it's definitely not a simulation. The silicon guys are getting a little weird. We'll get there. It's a little techno, although I am grateful for the techno, low G, as I beam to you from under Gunsight Butte here in Sedona through the ether of the internet. I do have a good story to tell on that front too. I did not vote for Trump, but I did get involved this summer energetically. Okay, where am I going with this? So we have a real problem with the debt. It's 30-some trillion. The programs are overcommitted. It's going to be 50, 70. It's going to be hard to pay back. We really have a pretty big monkey on our back, and a good Buddhist teaching is hungry ghost. So, what they say is like someone like Bezos. I like Bezos. He worked hard, but he's got that weird sort of smirk on his face, like, the yachts. And I thought his old wife was cool. Traded her in for a boob job type. I'm sure she's cool. I really am not trying to throw shade here. It's just hard not to be boring when you make a video without raking some eggs. And the point is with Hungry Ghost is what you really want is your heart. It's kind of a weird spiritual teaching where you want your soul or your expression, your little piece of creator. And so if you're not kind of lighting your spark up, it haunts you. And so it seems like 10 yachts would do the trick, but they still have problems. They still have weird days where they're in their head. And so what I'm trying to sell is like the culture went through this weird, scientific success. And a lot of people were like, screw the church or screw the old way. Like, let's use reason. But if you do enough homework, it is objectively, reasonably a spiritual place. It's happening. The physics is there. Even the electrons are informed by a wave field. If you study the work of like the Noetic Institute, our mind is definitely interacting with that field. We've all had those moments like, oh, I should call Bobby, and then Bobby calls you. it's more than that, though. You even slightly can move the place. I could tell some stories that would be incredulous. And so, if it is a spiritual place, and if we do want our hearts, and if tons and tons of wealth is kind of a Hunger Ghost situation, really the only way to get our monkey off our back is the Robin Hood. The only people who can really afford to pay back the big party that we just had post World War II is the wealthy got to pay it. Now, what you would want is like a golden Willy Wonka coin of like $40 trillion. Give it to the Fed, let the Fed pay it back. The issue is, not to get boring, because that would be my favorite choice. Right now, like the Chinese hold a lot of the debt. There's this big trade imbalance. So like a lot of dollars have flooded the world, and they don't always have a place to put those dollars. So they buy bonds because they know we'll pay back the bonds. And so if the Fed just starts paying back the bonds and gobbles them up, then there's like $40 trillion of cash just out there. I read recently, didn't check it, there's like 160 trillion assets in the state. So 40 trillion extra coin causes inflation, and inflation is hard for the poor and the middle class. So it's hard to make it all go away. I know it's funny money, but there isn't seemingly a funny way out. So now, how could you incentivize the wealthy to flood, to pay back the party, because we kind of just had an indulgent romp, I do have ideas on that. Let me think if there's anything else to say. Like, optimistically, we've never had better technology. We've never had more materials, never had better understanding of physical reality. We've never had more geniuses. We have Elon. We're going to be able to cook with some gas. It's just like a lot of the easy buttons, like UBI, Universal Basic Income, it's like from where, from whence, from how? And there are ideas like VAT tax and this, that, the other. I'm just saying there truly is a pretty big monkey. And the best way for us to go about this is for everyone to honor like the Ayn Rand school, everyone to do their part, like wake up, work, try, help your neighbors, try to be healthy, try and be you. I mean, some of you are just meant to be a gardener or a cook and be a beautiful gardener or cook. It's not like you all have to turn into Zuckerbergs. In fact, Zuckerberg is very annoying, and a lot of his creations are not the way at all. The metaverse, almost everything he does annoys me. Instagram's kind of cool, but he bought it. And yeah, you can hire coaches to teach you jiu-jitsu and surf, but it's not the same as like deeply pressing in and trying to be your own critter and waking up every day and learning your lessons. What I will say, and it will sound far out, is it's not just karma. There are actually aspects of your selfhood upstairs helping direct the place. So it's not like the universe or karma. It's like this is a multi-tiered game, and if you're tracking it, and especially if you are paying attention, your experiences will be shaping you. You will have lessons, you will have dreams, you will have encounters. It's kind of like, it's not always an accident who you meet at the grocery store. Like, we all work on it together. It's like, I'll go right now. And Billy Bob's there, and you and Billy Bob give each other a small blessing. It could be a very small moment. I have small moments with people all the time that help me very much. It could be a big moment. You could find, an important moment or experience. So it's kind of like, if we're all trying to attune to the way or the field or the, we're here in God's realm, and he does let you fall. So most civilizations have fallen. It's usually the coin. They used to chip the coin. Basically how it works, you get on top with the military, and then, there's always flies that fester around the powers that be. They overspend, they overcommit, they indulge. I mean, look how weird Russia is with the oligarchs, and Moscow looks pretty, but the rest of it, it's like not even running water. So the dark side will try and get you to play king of the hill. And if we're not careful, our wealthy are going to be tempted for that. They're going to have so much wealth. The way capitalism works, and especially the type of fraudulent bureaucracy capitalism that we have is there's a ton of money at the top, just a ton of cheddar. And once you have that much cheddar, it kind of is like a snowball. And so a lot of our people have worked very hard for the wealth. Others have inherited it or cheated or scammed. Most of the politicians are filthy rich. How did that happen? You know, we know how that happened. So a lot of dirty things have gone down. There's a big mess. But not to be too ungrateful, I mean, times have never been easier on Earth. We have all the gadgets, all the tools. But we kind of have to realize what we want is to be at God's feet, you know. All the religions are good. So they all basically taught us that. And then if you left the church or the synagogue or the, you know, the mosque or what have you, and you're living your best life, well, most of those people are pretty shallow, selfish. I'm just going to call it like it is, and consumeristic. And like, look how consumeristic China is. It's almost depressing. It's like they're almost. Did you guys see some of the videos during China? Like China, or during COVID, like China is really far from the way, like very far. You want to be, what my homie said yesterday, a true child of Zion. He hasn't used AI yet, nor have I. My minor's applied math. I love AI. I'm glad it's here. But like, I'm trying to keep that old way about me and be a real rhythm cat. And, you know, I'll start using it at some point. My Google searches are far better now that AI is doing it. Like, I know it's very useful. I'm just trying to say, like, my plea to Elon would be like, those are the stories they tell, like a master internet and a chips in the brain. Like the hippies have stories of Maldek, which is funny. It's just very funny. Sometimes these stories are just, they're like dreams, they're like movies. They're trying to tell you, like, I live here in Sedona and they talk about the Greys, and it could be fantastical. You know, it could just be a story, but the story is like, they got so good at tech and altering their genes, and they ended up heady. And they were like, what happened to our humanity? Like, where did we go? Human, some say means like God-mon. Like, it really is a spiritual place. And I'm not trying to disrespect the House of Wealth and doing things. I mean, the church basically brought the House of Wealth to Earth. Like, but the native way also matters, and learning how to listen to the wind. And they learned a lot of that from the animals. So there's a lot of balances. But for us to get out of this, I really do think we should support Elon and his new party if he goes for it, or we should make one. I came up with one, like, I don't know, whenever it's the Hillary and the Trump election, I was like, you know what? I called it our millennial party. I am a millennial. And I said ideas for 1,000 years. Like, we should have plans that work for a long time. And so, yeah, we're going to have to keep the fire in the belly and help people and train them. And it's not like everyone gets a free ride, but we also need the people at the top to really give a lot back, because there's no clean way out elsewise. Now, I do think the Fed or whomever should try to funny money where they can. Like, if there are some funny tricks, like, does the Fed have 4 trillion bonds? Does that have to get paid back? I know there are experts in these fields, and I'm relatively, you know, ignorant, but if we can do some funnies, it's just, I don't think we can funny the whole way out, even though it is funny money, because it's like Zimbabwe. This stuff starts to get real hard. I mean, that's how Germany got into World War II, is the coin went, you know? Weren't they burning bills for heat? So it's already been tough. Like, this house I'm in was worth like $430 in 2018, and now it's worth like $9. And it's going to be hard to get interest rates back down just because the lever can only be pulled so many times. Like, they say our debt to GDP was the same after World War II, but they had many levers to pull that we already pulled. And I don't see it out of our congressmen, not to put them down. I do see it in some. I don't even see people who care or have a heart or have ever tried. You know what I mean? Like, they should have meditation practices. They should do yoga. They should go into the forest occasionally. They should have done some training. They should have tried. They should have reached for it. And that's what we need. So I'm trying to stay pleasant. It's just, you know, the same time that we're bumping into, like it's finally hit the head. I think the interest payments are more than the military. It's finally here. It has come. The programs are about to get more expensive, more and more people on the programs, Social Security, they're all there. And I work in health IT. The hospitals are already hurting. Like, I'm working a project where we acquired 9 hospitals for free. We're just paying the IT fees because a lot of them, and my last one was the same. They've gone bankrupt. Like, the problem is here. There is a monkey. So we really need teamwork, dream work. We need to drop I don't know if ego is the right word, but like everyone just trying to be like, there's so much advice online on like how to take care of yourself. It's like, guys, please, at this moment, the pressures are urging you to grow bigger. I don't know if you ever read Foundation series. It's a great book, but the civilization like is put through, and it's intergalactic, but like they run up against these limits and then they change as people and the way they see the world and the way they think. So it's an inflection point. Pressure, hatch. Just, we ought to be proactive and make moves and be bold and stay courteous and stay kind. Just so you don't want to get smashed in the egg. We don't want Clown Town where people are running out of jobs because the AI does all of them. And I really think that's a little overstated. I know it's a super powerful tool, but people are going to want to be with people. People can give you blessings. Like when I go to the barista, they give me codes, or like you want to be bumping into people because they have souls. Machines do not have souls. I love Elon, but there is no. Even Rogan's getting weird. Like, no, let's not become cyborgs. Like, no, we're already too heady. We don't need like more of that. We actually have gotten a little out of our feet. Like, we need to be a bit more native. It's a lot to be proud of, human, and you know, but yeah, I mean, what do they call it? Like the perfect storm. Like, jobs are going to be replaced. The bailout system's broke. Like, let's do something creative. I do have ideas. I should probably put pen to paper. I do think the rich should give a lot. I do think it should be all tracked and transparent, and they should be seen and honored for that, and well regarded, and maybe even have some say on where their payments go. But a lot of it has to go just to pay back the party. I hate to say, So let's work together. Let's do teamwork, dreamwork. Let's not chase hungry ghosts, and let's support Elon. He's extraordinary. His knowledge of engineering and building things, and he's cool and he has a heart. No one's perfect. I'd say less Mars, more Earth from him, but not telling people what to do. And I don't think a rock is coming anytime soon. I am a good psychic. I have proven it. But it is cool. Like, we do eventually want to be able to get out there and be a foraging little exploratory civilization. There's a lot to be proud of. But we have a lot of work on the ground at home in a lot of countries that are still kind of suffering, and a lot of cruelty and evil and horribleness. And we need this little light of mine works a lot, as we each kind of in our interactions are helping. Why don't we start as America and just try and get our own house in order? Other people, other countries may find slightly different ways. We know who our team is. Like, if we were to have a new system, or like, okay, light side go, like, we know most countries would be in. And shame on China, shame on Putin, shame on the Middle East. I mean, that is a terrible expression. We are here with a force pushing it, and we can reach those people, and there are good ones there. But there is in this game, forces that pull you off course, and it's not guaranteed you sail straight. The prediction here is that we will be victorious, and this is going to be a peaceful, happy, lushful, amazing planet. But we're in a moment of needing to try and focus, get healthy, and be mature, and we're being asked to kind of grow up and be stewards, and we can do it. I believe in you. So, yeah. Over now. Let's go.